Hi, my name is Kelsey Taylor, and this is my Devmountain Data Analytics Specializations Capstone project. Mothers in the workforce, a need, no longer a choice. For this project, there wasn't any one dataset that contained all the data I was looking for. Because of this, I needed to collect data from a number of different data sources, as shown on the left. The next step in my process was to clean and merge that data, primarily using Excel, followed up by some Python in a Jupyter Notebook. For my exploratory data analysis and preliminary visualizations, I used Python and Python libraries like Pandas, Matplotlib, and Seaborn within a Jupyter Notebook. For my final visualizations, I utilized Microsoft's Power BI. One of the most important indicators for our cost of living is the Consumer Price Index, or CPI. It shows us how the purchasing power of the dollar has changed over time. It's based on a market basket of consumer goods and services. To determine the value of the Consumer Price Index, 8 consumer categories are included within this basket. They include food and beverages, housing, apparel, transportation, medical care, recreation, education and communication, and an other or miscellaneous. The heaviest weighted category affecting the CPI value is housing. The more expensive the home, the greater the CPI. We'll dive into this shortly. If we take a look at the Consumer Price Index over the last 60 years, we can see that it has risen a massive 240 points. To put this in perspective, we can use the CPI to calculate how valuable our dollar is compared to prior years. $150 in 1960 would buy you the same amount of goods as nearly $1,400 in 2021. $150 in 2000 would buy you the same amount of goods as $236 in 2021. To summarize, prices be rising. Remember how the price of homes is a major weighted indicator in the CPI? Well, here we can see the median sales price of U.S. homes over the last 60 years. In 1960, the median sales price of homes was $18,000, but as of 2013, the median sale price of homes sat over $250,000, a quarter of $1,000,000. Now, these rising prices in homes and other goods doesn't really matter so much as long as we're making enough, right? Well, if we compare this rise in home prices to the median income, we can see a stark problem. Median income is significantly failing to keep up with the rising cost of U.S. homes. In 1984, the median home price was only 4 times more than the median income. But in 2021, the median home price was just shy of $400,000, 5.6 times the median income, and it's even greater in 2022. To explain the data of U.S. home prices further, let's analyze some U.S. events. In December 2007, the housing market crashed, sending the United States into a financial tailspin. Generally, houses increase or hold their value. However, the 2008 Great Recession was the first time in 100 years that housing prices fell. Then in 2020, when COVID hit and the world shut down, there was an unprecedented 39% increase in home prices in just a 3-year window of time. With this skyrocketing price, many people, especially first-time homebuyers, find themselves wondering if there's an impending housing market crash that will lower these insane prices. If we look at the conditions that led up to 2007 and compare them to the conditions of 2022, we'll see why most experts predict that there will not be a housing crash. In 2007, there were approximately 116 million households. In 2022, there were 128 million. 2007 had 2.1 million new housing starts, whereas 2022 only has 1.4 million. In 2007, there were 4 million houses in inventory ready to be sold, but in 2022, we only have 860,000. We have 12 million more households now, or 12 million more potential buyers. We have less housing starts going up, and 3 million less in inventory. Our demand far outweighs the supply. Without a drop in buyers or a significant rise in inventory, we can expect that these housing prices are going to stick around. All this information therefore begs the question, if the cost to live and the cost to put a roof over your head is only going to get higher or remain high, how do we afford it? Let's look at two-income families. In this graph, we're looking at the number of employed women per capita, split into age groups. I've selected ages 25 to 34 to highlight because this is the age group where we might have expected the most child rearing to occur and women to be at home. Women ages 25 to 34 see the greatest increase in employment since the 1960s. The trend shows that staying at home to maintain the family and household is not only not happening, but based on our housing and CPI data, it's just not an option. Women in their childbearing years have to work to keep up with the cost of living. When we compare numbers of employed people, we see the vast majority of incomes have already been made up of husband and wife combined incomes. There was a slight dip in 2008 again, likely because of the unemployment rate, but the trend is still increasing. Mothers no longer have the option to stay at home because they simply can't afford to. Their families depend on their incomes. So, what do we do about it? We need to normalize families in work environments. Here are my proposed action steps. Make companies family friendly. Don't hide your family from your employer. Companies, allow employees and don't make it a big deal if they have a baby or toddler in the background of a Zoom meeting. Companies can offer flexible schedules. I, like many mothers, am a superhero of productivity during the morning or after my kids have gone to bed. Substantial maternity and paternity leaves should be a standard. I can think of no better way to support a mother than to allow her spouse or partner to be at home to help her in those early new baby days. Increase the number of part-time positions available. Make remote and hybrid positions permanent. We like each other, but let's be honest, we'd rather spend our breaks with our families. Companies can include in their benefits packages offers of in-house daycares for in-office workers and or a child care credit. Imagine nurses who can pop down to the hospital's employee daycare to check on their children during their breaks. It just might make a 12-hour shift more bearable. Finally, normalize career breaks and resume gaps. They're simply not that big of a deal, especially when you consider the plethora of reasons why someone might need to take a break from work. By doing all of these actions, I truly believe we can impact our world with both mothers and fathers working to support their families, but also in a way that still supports their children. Thank you for watching my presentation, and special shout out to my Foundations 28 and Data 28 cohorts for supporting me while I completed our full-time boot camp, while also caring full-time for my 2-year-old and newborn baby. It truly has been a wonderful ride, and I thank you for all your support.